Pasyatam divi devanam Pashumaran amarayat. Please chant. Tam nigrihya chuto dorbhyam Patayitva mahitale Pasyatam divi devanam Pashumaran amarayat. Tannidihya chuto dhurubhyam Patayitva mahitale Pasyatam divi devanam Pasumaran amarayat. Tam him nigrihya, holding fast, Achyutaha, Lord Krishna, Dorubhyam, with his arms, Patayitva, making him fall, Mahitale, on the ground, Pashyatam, while they were watching, Divi, in the heavenly planets, Devanam, the demigods, Pashumaram, as a sacrificial animal is slaughtered, Amarajat, he killed him. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Achyuta clutched Vyamasura between his arms and threw him to the ground. Then, while the demigods in heaven looked on, Krishna killed him in the same way that one kills a sacrificial animal. Purport. The Acharyas inform us that sacrificial animals were killed by means of a strangulation. And then text number 33. Guha pidana nirbhidya gopan nisharya krichata stuja manasurai gopai prabhivesha swagolukam swaprabhivesha sagokulam. Translation. Krishna then smashed the boulder blocking the cave's entrance and led the trapped cowherd boys to safety. Thereafter, as the demigods and cowherd boys sang his glories, he returned to his cowherd village in Gokula. Thus ends the purpose of the humble servants of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 10th canto, 37th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Killing of the Demons Keshi and Vyoma. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Rupa Swami Iti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatyade Shatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So, like the popular say expresses, another one bites the dust. You hear that before? Another one bite the dust. is to say that here is the fall or the end of another one of these demons. So in this case, Vyaumasura, this demon who was a son of Maya Danava, no? And he was a big mystic demon. He was killed so easily by Krishna. And it is explained that was killed like a sacrificial animal. Of course, I think in India there's places that you still see there's animal sacrifice for goddess Kali. I remember seeing this horrifying documentary on a place in India. It's somewhere in the north, I think towards to very, very up north, towards the Himalayas, the mountains. There's a place that they kill thousands and thousands of animals, one particular festival that they have for Goddess Kali. And so people bring all kinds of animals and they kill so many bulls or buffaloes too, and all kinds of creatures. But the way they do it is very gross. They hit them with a big swords and things like that. But small animals, they break their neck, they shock them, like that. Or they kick their heads. So it's explained here that these sacrificial animals were killed by means of a strangulation. I had the experience when I grew up. Of course, these are Vedic sacrifice in the material world, especially in the Western world, which is, there is no trace of much of a Vedic tradition. It was just killing animals, slaughtering animals for eating them. And the family that I grew up, my grandparents, they own a farm. And in the farm, so we grew up in the city, my parents, and when we have a summer break, we spend times in the farm with my cousins. We all come to the farm. And as a child, I remember I still feel traumatized. Just, it gives me the chill, some like reaction, bodily reaction to the trauma seeing the animals being slaughtered. There was a particular fellow in the farm that used to be the butcher. Was a black man, very tall and wiry. He was, this type of facial, the bones, will be very pointy. And, he's muscular, but very wiry. He was tall and thin. And he has always this, you can see a man who lived his life, the whole life, killing and butchering so many animals in the farm. So you can see he was a very, heartless person. And he would particularly take pleasure on taking the children of the family he will lead us to the place where he was going to slaughter an animal. And of course, you see all these little kids completely traumatized. My brother and I were like traumatized because the violent, horrible ways in which this guy will kill the animals. So the chickens will be, like that, choked. It was terrible. Because of that, the first time I hear about vegetarianism, I took it immediately. I say, yes, this makes sense. So that was when I was 18 years old. So yeah, in this way, Krishna, not like this horrible butcher guy, but like in Vedic times, the Brahmanas will sacrifice animals, but the animals will actually reap the benefits of being part of a religious sacrifice. And like in the Bhagavad Gita says, that all the 5 elements of the sacrifice, of the 5 personalities involved in the sacrifice, they all reap the same type of benefits. So the Brahmana who does the sacrifice, the person who sponsors, the persons who attend, the offering itself, there's others, like that, they all have the same benefit. So the animals will, in general, obtain a human form of life in the next life. Or sometimes they're being rejuvenated. There will be, a very feeble old body, and then will come, new. Very powerful. But the point is, Krishna will kill these demons so easily. So easily. So I'm going to read Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments and Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami on these 2 verses to just give a little more opening to it. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments on verse number 32. He strangled Vyomasura just as one strangles a sacrificial animal. Just as Vyomasura had tried to kill the cowherd boys by suffocating them in the cave by blocking the opening. So, Krishna killed Vyomasura in the same type of suffering that Vyomasura was trying to put on the cowherd boys, on Krishna's devotees. That's the way Krishna actually killed this demon. He suffocated him by strangulation. So it's very Krishna is, this what is it? Oh, now I got a blank in my head. That he reciprocates accordingly. Ye yatam mam prapadyante tanstataiva bhajamyaham. That according to how they approach him, then he reciprocates. So in this case, this demon is trying to hurt the devotees in such a way, so Krishna, bring his death in the same way. He killed him in this way by suffocating him, strangulated. Srila Jiva Goswami comments on this verse. The devatas looked on in joy. The locative case is meant instead of a genitive. You know what this locative case and genitive case is? It's just grammar. You usually been taught, about this different, but it's a simple thing. Locative is when you use the type of wording that you use to depict a location. So, for example, in, on, like that, those are for locations. So in this case, Srila Jiva Goswami is explaining that in terms of the demigods, it was expressed in a locative case that they were in heaven. They were located in heaven. They were not, they were looking from the heavens, like that. Genitive is when it says that it belongs to, that it is something that is of their own, it belongs to them, like that. So this is not the case. It is more, the expression is to highlight that they were looking from heaven. They were in the sky, for even then they were hiding out of fear of the demon. He killed the demon like a sacrificial animal by blocking his breath. Ashu Maran Amarayat. Such meaning is according to the Upamane Karmani, Panini, 3:445. I don't know. Upamane Karmani, I didn't check that out. This was very suitable in that game for punishing the thief that will imitate suffocating him for a moment, and he had almost suffocated the cowherd boys in the cave. Krishna did not stop performing such pastimes. Achyuta. You got this? The game that they were playing was thieves and police, and some were the good guys and were the thief, and some were the cheat. And then when they capture the thief, they will play that they will punish them by suffocating them. So this demon disguised himself as a cowherd boy, and he's trying to capture all the chips. And then finally start to capture all the cowherd boys, and he was trying to suffocate him. So Krishna captured this thief, like the game, and like the game, he suffocated, but he suffocated to death. He killed him in that way. So Krishna never stopped performing his pastime. That's what Srila Jiva Goswami is saying. And he called him Achyuta because of that. He doesn't fail ever, like that. And that's the comments of the Charya from these two verses, from this verse 32. And now, verse 33, there's only the comments of Jiva Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, and Srila Sanatana Goswami. They're very similar. Srila Jiva Goswami sort of quotes Srila Sanatana Goswami. Srila Jiva Goswami writes, he took the boys from the place of suffering, Krichrata, the cave. Praised by the devatas and the cowherds following him, he entered Gokula with great joy. Prabhibesha. Gokula is mentioned as Krishna's own Swagokulam, because he was worried about the future pastimes in which he will live. In his heart, he concluded that he will not give up Gokula to go far away. This will be revealed later. Instead of Gopai Devais Cha, often Surai Gopai is seen. This means that the devatas praise him, and he joyfully entered Gokula with the cowherd boys. So several things. I read Sanatana Goswami and then we break it down a little bit. Sanatana Goswami is very similar. He took the boys from the place of suffering, the cave, praised by the devatas and the cowherd. Following him, he entered Gokula with great joy, or he entered in a form surrounded by gopis. Gokula is mentioned as Krishna's own Swagokulam because he did not intend to give up the place at that time. So there's few things here. One is that Krishna is the deliverer of the devotees from any type of distress, any type of suffering. So for those who are fully surrendered to Krishna, he eliminates any type of distress and suffering. He is the deliverer of the devotees of any condition of stress. And one beautiful thing is that both acharyas reveal Krishna's heart in terms of Gokula. And they break down why Srila Sukadev Goswami used this word Swagokulan. Krishna's own Gokula is his own place. And the mindset of Krishna is he thinking that his pastimes in Gokula is ending, and now, this was right after he had the conversation with Narada Muni, remember? And Narada Muni was saying, now is the time to end your pastimes in Vrindavan, and then start your pastimes in Mathura and Dwarka. And but Krishna is thinking, no, he can give up Gokula. This is his own place. And and thinking in this way, I read it again. He was worried about his future pastimes in which he will live. And in his heart, he concluded he will not give up Gokula to go far away. Later, we're going to be understanding how Krishna was able to. The fact is that he never left Vrindavan. So he remains in Vrindavan. Is in his in his apakat lila, which is his own manifested lila. He manifested his past, and his Vrindavan pastimes will carry on within the heart of all the devotees there. It was unmanifested. Only those who were in this most exalted position of love of Godhead were able to fully experience Krishna and be able to see Krishna in Vrindavan. So this is a very important point. One thing that is that I get from this is Krishna performing this activity of giving protection to the devotees and delivering the devotees of any type of suffering. And to be able to have that type of confidence that the Lord, the devotees will never suffer any type of anxiety. We see it in the Cowherd Boys throughout the pastime, the Leelas of Krishna, when demons approach. The Cowherd Boys are always confident of Krishna. We hear over and over and over. We hear when they saw the Agasura, they figured it out. It smells really bad, and that's not a cave. That looks like a big demon. Anyway, let's go in because Krishna is there. They really don't care. I mean, Krishna will protect them. And even, these demons swallow them. They were perfectly confident on Krishna's protection. And we've been hearing, my spiritual master has been speaking about the past and the killing of Denakasura. And the Denakasura was a terrible demon. It was explained that he will eat people alive. If someone dares to come into that area where the tall trees were, the Taliban, the forest, he will eat them alive. So it was a terrible, terrible demon. The cowherd boys, they actually sort of pushed Krishna and Balaram. Yeah, let's go. You kill those guys, so we want fruit. We want those tall fruits. So they fully confident of Krishna's, protection. So to be in that type of a space, that's what we're aspiring. In devotees, we are aspiring to come to the space of having full confidence of Krishna's protection. And that type of space comes from reaching the perfection of surrender. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur described these 6 limbs of surrendering, and one of them is Krishna is my protector. Rahasya. Krishna is my protector. And Krishna is my maintainer. Seeing Krishna as a maintainer, he said, seeing Krishna as a protector, giving all in approaching Krishna in humility, and surrendering everything to Krishna, Atma Nivedana, and not do anything that is contrary to Krishna consciousness, and do the things that are favorable to Krishna consciousness. But to come into this space of full confidence on Krishna's protection and Krishna's maintenance, this is a sign of pure devotional service. So the inhabitants of Vrindavan, the cowherd boys, they exemplify that to the highest degree. We aspire that to come to that position. But it's not a simple position, it's not easy. But just by approaching devotional service, even not in these levels of purity and surrender and full giving one's fully to Krishna, even in a position in which we're still conditioning, if we are under the shelter of a devotee, and we are engaged in devotional service, Srila Rupa Goswami says that the first symptom of practicing devotional service is that one miseries start to dissipate. And it's a wonderful thing, because although we see that devotees in general, and it looks, maybe because we're experiencing ourselves, and we see others experiencing, you see, devotees, so many devotees are struggling with this and with that. And there's this suffering and this suffering, there's this bodily suffering, there's these things, all the things happens. Sometimes very terrible things happen. Sometimes, devotees are really, really struggling when you see externally. But what devotional service gives us is this way of seeing good and bad in a positive way, from a different perspective, in a perspective that brings Krishna's hand. And when we see Krishna's hand, then material bad or material good is all good. It's all positive, because Krishna, one feels connected to Krishna. That's what devotional service does to us. There's this principle of hope that is given to us when we come to devotional service. Srila Rupa Goswami say that this is the bedrock of devotion, of advancement in devotional service. The bedrock of advancing in devotional service is hope. And the term that he uses is Asha Bandha. Asha Bandha. Asha means hope, and Bandha means bound by hope. So when the spiritual master puts that seed of devotion into us, when we receive that seed of devotion, then it's almost like now Krishna is binding us. We're giving this faith that Krishna is our best friend, is our well-wisher, and he will take care of us. And we will come, if we have faith in the process, if we practice this process, we will become Krishna conscious. And we come to Krishna. And simply by continue following to the best of our abilities, we will get there if we don't give up. So many instructions are there. We're given that hope. And that's a bedrock. Asha Bandha, Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Prabhupada has, in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, actually, this is in the Nectar of Devotion. In the chapter that Srila Prabhupada describes, what are the symptoms of one who is in ecstatic love, the character of one in ecstatic love. And then he defined this Ashabandha, and it's very beautiful. I'll read it. Quote, "The strong conviction that one will certainly receive the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is called in Sanskrit Ashabandha. Ashabandha means to continue to think, quote, because I'm trying my best to follow the routine principles of devotional service, I am sure that I will go back to Godhead, back to home," end of quote. And Prabhupada continues, in this connection, one prayer by Rupa Goswami is sufficient to exemplify this hopelessness. This hopefulness. Sorry. So this is a beautiful prayer. I remember once I was instructed by my Guru Maharaj to read this prayer and to meditate on this prayer, because some time ago I was pointed out that it's almost like it's hopeless to overcome certain things in one's condition, that they just don't go away. And then Srila Goswami say, well, that's the symptom of, you're going on the right track. Because Srila Rupa Goswami, he highlights this space that we have, that as we progress in Krishna consciousness, we become very much this type of thinking, this type of feeling and experience becomes manifested. The feeling of hopelessness, of hoping against, and the term that Srila Rupa Goswami used, hoping against hope. So he told me to read this prayer. So, that's why I got the, what it is in Nectar of Devotion. So Srila Rupa Goswami says, quote, I have no love for Krishna, nor for the causes of developing love for Krishna, love of Krishna, namely hearing and chanting. And the process of bhakti yoga, by which one is always thinking of Krishna and fixing his lotus feet in the heart, is also lacking in me. As far as philosophical knowledge or pious work are concerned, I don't see any opportunity for me to execute such activities. But above all, I am not even born of a nice family. Therefore, I must simply pray to you, Gopijana Vallabha Krishna, the maintainer and beloved of the gopis. I simply wish and hope that some way or other I may be able to approach your lotus feet. And this hope is giving me pain because I think myself quite incompetent to approach this transcendental goal of life. So that is the feeling of a Vaishnava, my Guru Maharaj mentioned, that when it's fully depending on Krishna's mercy, basically, that overcoming of one's, condition, material condition, the only person who can free us is Krishna. And we're fully depending on that. And that hope is a cultivation of that will bring us to that space, like the Brijavasis, the cowherd boys, they have in Krishna. It's complete faith and trust that Krishna will protect us. And externally you see they're being kidnapped, they're being put in a dark cave. The entrance of the cave is blocked with a huge boulder, and they will be suffocating in there because there's no air. So that's a very, very horrible situation, but they're confident. And Krishna is Achyuta. He delivers them. Prabhupada concludes, the purport is that under the heading of Ashabandha, one should continue to hope against hope that some way or other he will be able to approach the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Similarly, the famous verse, prayers of Lord Brahma, Tate Nukampan Shushamik Shamano, that same thing, that type of faith that, I have to go through this suffering, but this suffering is very good. Because this suffering, I am accepting this suffering as Krishna's arrangement, and I'm just confident that you tolerate this because I'm confident that Krishna will protect me. And with that, that type of faith and that type of dedication and that type of you continue doing your devotional service in despite of going through whatever situation one have to go through, because one had faith that Krishna will take me. So I simply offer my respectful obeisances with my heart, words, and body. And then that surely makes a devotee eligible for liberation, and that's his rightful claim, according to Lord Brahma. So that type of feeling, that type of cultivation is what's going to take us to that position of full surrender and full confidence on Krishna. The opposite is this hope, because hope is something that is part of nature. It is our nature, is there. Hope is very much connected to desires, right? I hope to have that. Even the definition of hope is that the aspiration that something better is coming, something, a better situation, or something that you desire, that something better is coming, that is going to be here, it's going to be with us. So Krishna explains that without Krishna consciousness, that hope that is naturally in the human consciousness becomes completely baffled. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains in several places, there is this, that it doesn't matter, you will always, if you don't have the spiritual hope, this ashabandha, that is connected to Krishna, that Krishna will protect me and will maintain me. If it's not connected to Krishna, then it's going to be connected to just your material desires. And they will never be satisfied. Yesterday we were watching also a class that my spiritual master was giving, and he had he played a little video of the giving tree. It's a story of a child that have this special connection with this beautiful tree that was always giving. So in his childhood, this child will play all the times with the tree, and the tree will provide, at the playground, will provide the resting place, will provide the fruits, everything. So there was this very beautiful connection with the tree and this child. The child then grew into a youth, and as he grew up, he stopped coming towards the tree. But one day, after many years, he comes back to the tree, and he asked the tree that he have to make money. He have to survive in the world, so have to make money. So now, please give me something so I can make money. And the tree say, well, I can give you my fruits, so you can take all my fruits and then sell it in the market. So he took all the fruits and he make money. Then much later, as an adult, he comes, and now, I have a family, I'm getting married, I need to build a house. Please fulfill the desire. And then the tree said, you can take all my branches, and with that you can build a house. And so the man cut all the branches of the tree, now it's just a trunk, and then he built his house. And then much later, as an old man, he comes and say, I'm really totally distressed about this family life. I want to travel the world. I want to just go away. So please help me with that. I want to make a boat and being able to sail away. And the tree say, you can take my body, cut my trunk, and make a boat. So the man cut the tree, and what it was left was just a little stump. Much later, right now, almost dying, this man comes back and saying, I'm can't find satisfaction. I'm so tired. And then please give me some way of relieving myself all this anxiety and this tiredness of life. And the tree say, you can sit on me. Like that. So the ever-giving tree. So the moral, after so many devotees say, how the focusing on the nature of the tree, which was given without anything expecting something back, unconditional giving. And Prabhupada Swami highlighted another moral that is important, is that what it was missing is that the tree was fulfilling the material needs of this person, but not giving the spiritual, the spiritual element. So therefore, this person, throughout, it was one desire after desire that it was never fulfilled. It was always baffled. So without this spiritual culture, without receiving, devotional service from the spiritual master, for those who are giving us, then there won't be any satisfaction. Krishna, in the 60th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which describes the divine and demoniac nature, Krishna uses this word asha, hope. But the term that he uses is asha pasha. Asha pasha. Pasha means, let me see, what's it? Pasha means like a trap. Pasha means like a trap. You put a trap and the person falls into a trap, an animal like that, So asha is the trap of all these networks of hopes, material hopes. So he described the demoniac person like this, completely trapped by an unending network of hopes and desires. Bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. And when we talk illegal, it's not necessarily just a thief, but is this consciousness that is you taking something from Krishna's creation without acknowledging Krishna. So at the end, we all thieves if we're not in Krishna consciousness. And in the 9th chapter, Krishna called this situation as mogasa. Mogasa means they will be baffled. Those who doesn't, this is after the, manusin tanung ashritam, those who have not faith, what is that? Sradadana, no. What is it? Moga sham, moga karma, no. Yes. But this verse comes after the ones that fools derides me. What is it? Huh? No. The one that say fools deride me when I come in my human form. Muda, yeah. That's what that's in Manusin Tanu Ashrita. Yes. So Mogasa, for all those people who derive Krishna, who doesn't accept Krishna, all the hopes will be baffled. All the hopes will be baffled. And not only that, Moga Karmana, all the fruitive activities will be baffled. Moga Jnana, all their knowledge will be baffled. So everything, every effort that they do without Krishna consciousness will be basically the source of their fall down and suffering. So that's material hope. So spiritual hope is different. The spiritual hope, when the spiritual hope, then one start to go deeper and deeper in devotional service, and what happens? Then one naturally develops jnana and vairagya. Jnana vairagya. Knowledge and renunciation. It naturally happens. And one's progress and progress naturally towards the lotus feet of Krishna. So it's a wonderful thing, and it's fantastic to read and hear about these wonderful associates of Krishna and their complete trust in Krishna, and just hear, Krishna's heroic activities in killing those demons like anything. So Krishna can do all that. I think I got all enthusiastic about the subject matter. So any comments or questions? We have take another 5 minutes for doing that.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Yagna dana tapasya. One should not give up. It's like sacrifice. So you can put some highlights on that.
Yeah, one should not give up. Same. That's the message of Lord Brahma. That one just don't stop, don't give up. You continue, and then the famous verse that Lord Chaitanya accepted, which says, "Remain in your position." Just give up this speculation thing of jnana and karma, and just remain in your position with full faith, engaging with full faith in the process of hearing and chanting. So we don't give up the process of hearing and chanting. We don't give up, what is given to us, the means of devotional service. We continue and we continue and we continue. We just continue. And if we do that, we know, we have faith, we're going to be taken back home, back to Godhead. And then sometimes we see that, with devotees. It's amazing. Even devotees who have fallen away, but then they again retake by Krishna's arrangement, and then immediately they again regain all that, and they leave their bodies in the most wonderful ways in Vrindavan. So many devotees that you dedicate your life and you continue and you continue, you continue. We can have faith that Krishna will take care of us. So the recommendation is don't stop. All the acharyas tell us that. So you just don't stop. We just tolerate our miseries, knowing that they're there by Krishna's arrangement, because Krishna is trying to help us understand something higher in ourselves, something that we need to overcome. That's why the misery happens. So that's the blessings that we're given. That's how devotees, they always have this ashabandhan that keep us going and going and going in despite of all our struggles. So it's a wonderful gift. Anyone else?
So my question is was that King Kulakshetra, his praise. Now I'm quite young. I can chant. I can remember you. So So we are in a stage now. We are practicing Krishna consciousness for many years. So what would your suggestion be on this particular verse? Like
to maintain.
Kulakshikra praise. Now I'm quite young. I can remember Krishna. When I grow old,
Yeah.
voice will choke up. I cannot. And will become weak. Like
Yeah, well, as you get older, you get more wiser, because actually one of the things that helps, this type of soberness, and urgency is when you start to notice, the influence of Krishna in the form of time. And we hear that, how transforming material hope into a spiritual hope. And a good example I was reading the other day is what happened to Dhritarashtra. Vidura, one of the ways that getting him sober, Mahatma Vidura told him that, look at you, what time is doing to you. You're basically the Supreme Lord in the form of time is taking everything away from you. You have taken everything from you. So now is the time, you can't waste any more time. You have to, dedicate yourself to self-realization. So in one sense for us, as we're getting old, that, now things start to break, and this pain and that thing, and, you can, then it becomes more important, you be sober up. You start, once you realize that sense enjoyment is more, there's more difficult, to enjoy with a body that is starting to deteriorate. So then it becomes easier to sober up. So it's a natural evolution, is there. That's why Krishna designed it in such a way, that there is old age start to happen, and during old age is when we start to move towards renunciation in a much more focused way. And that's what, we're gradually moving towards there. It's starting to bring everything more into focus. That much I can say. I guess, you can really get into a deep discussion of these things, but, I think we run out of time. Okay, I'll do a quicker one, Krishna Archana. Yeah, let's do it. I mean,
I was noticing, you had spent some time with the commentary of the first verse, that the acharyas had spoken about strangulation being the means by which the demon was killed. And he had also attempted in some way to choke the cowherd boys because they were being trapped in a space where air may have been restricted. So it's interesting how there's the punishment that's meted out by Krishna is, you could say, mirrors the nature of the offense committed. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and then also we read that Krishna, part of the game was to punish the thief by choking. That was part of the game. So Krishna also, captured this big thief and kill him by choking him, punish him by choking him to death. So Srila Jiva Goswami say he never stopped his pastime, his game. So anyway, Krishna's way of doing things. Thank you so much. Garantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.